Which one of us is leading tonight? The
As
big
a
things I
Williams
can
girly,
remember.
I
It was
can't lead
rough.
this because I'm in mourning.
This
What are
meeting
you
of
gonna
the Wheel
say?
Girls Club is now in session, where anybody can be a wheel girl. I'm Anne.
I'm Shelly.
I'm Sarah.
I'm Grace. Let's race.
Woo! Beep
It has
beep.
been so long since I've been on the podcast. This feels
Yes,
weird.
that's right. You've been missing the last two pods because of
Yeah,
She's a busy, busy
fun
girl.
stuff. Yeah.
very busy. Too busy.
I'm trying to recall the last two races. I don't know if you have any fresh
Yeah, have anything
comments you
hot to
want to
say?
add.
Did you
Did
listen to
you,
the pod?
yeah, did you
I
listen to that?
did listen to the pods. I was
Yes.
working out in the yard one day and I had headphones in. I was listening to podcasts, and I listened to the pod on not it was
Spain
just
and Canada. Those are
I
the
think it was
last two.
Canada.
Okay.
It was so fun.
I don't
So
know if
fun.
you guys do this, but when I before and sometimes during when I haven't been on the pod, like and you guys are recording and I'm listening, I get the inkling to like chime in, but I'm like
Oh yeah,
not.
100%.
There was definitely some Charles slander that I'm like, oh, if this would never happen if I was on the pod.
This would never happen.
There was some, was it Max slander on that pod?
Probably. That's just more incentive for you to
I'm
be
sorry.
on the recording every week.
Yeah, did you
I'm
see that
sorry,
race?
I was on a bus with 37 school kids.
Okay,
The
no, you don't need
Max
to go through
slander
there.
was warranted. It's not slander if it's true.
True. It's
Yeah.
not libel.
I'm
It's
just gonna say, I
alleged.
thought that Max handled the crash with Kimi this week
Yeah.
very maturely, very
Yeah, because it
kindly.
wasn't George.
Well, it was
Yeah,
funny
I
because
mean,
the
if you yell at
announcers.
Kimmy, it's like yelling at a literal kitten. Like,
Aw.
I
it's a really,
know.
really bad look, and Max is smart enough. He knows that.
Kimmy is a child, and guess what? Max just had a child. He can
He's a dad
relate.
now.
Yeah,
It's in
he
his
gets it.
father era.
I will be your father
But it was
figure.
okay. He was it was funny because the announcers were like, I would not want to be Kimmy right now. And like they were scared, and I think that's telling.
They were scared for his
But
well-being.
It
I
does seem
mean,
like every time Max starts in like seventh or like below
he
fourth,
does
he gets in like a first
terribly.
turn
Okay,
incident.
but
He
wasn't
doesn't
this
know
was
how to
a
handle himself when he's in
It
a
wasn't
sea
his
of
fault this time.
cars.
but this is what
It
they
was
said about
100% not his fault,
Hamilton
Sarah.
after Hamilton had been at the front for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
It was 100% not his fault, Anne.
It
No, because
wasn't.
Kimmy went
It
into
was
him in
it
the
was all
back.
Oh,
Kimmy.
today. I thought you were still talking about
Today,
George, and I was
today,
like,
No, no,
today.
no.
what?
No.
That one time he
With
even
Kimmy in the
slandered
first lap.
George.
Also,
It wasn't his fault. Anyways.
also, I'm just gonna say the Formula One app once again put out a notification about Verstappen and Antonelli crash.
Do you have spoilers turned
I
off on the F1
need
app?
to, yeah,
Is there
I
a
have
setting for that?
Yeah,
no
there's a setting for
sympathy.
that.
I did not know that. I will investigate.
I don't
Yeah.
know
When
why you have
I
notifications on in general
Yeah, truly.
This is my
for
hack.
anything.
This is my hack for anyone listening or for you guys. If I haven't watched the race and I don't want spoilers, I turn on the screen limitation and I include like
Formula One.
Outlook, all socials, like and the Formula One app, like where it literally like I time it out at like 1 minute. So then like I know every time I go and press those things, I'm like, oh yeah, I'm not gonna get anything spoiled. I'm pretty
The
serious about the spoilers.
the only one that has ever spoiled it for me is the Formula One app. Unless
Oh, I thought
I
you were gonna
There's
say,
literally a
open
is
spoiler
our
setting on the
group
F1 app.
text.
I'm gonna fix it. I'm gonna go in there. I'm gonna fix it.
Our group text always spoils it because I read the hidden messages even when I'm not supposed to.
That's
We're
a
so
get
diligent
no-no.
about the
FOMO.
invisible ink setting.
Yeah, I get FOMO.
I don't think I even.
Some people just ignore the chat fully, but
I watched late.
Well, I always have the notifications off for that chat.
I
I don't want
didn't look at
spoilers.
these yet.
Oh,
Also, you guys spam text all the time.
the ones that you put in,
spam text, Sarah.
the ones that you recently put in, Anne, were like golden. I did not like Oscar's radio that wasn't like advertised. I'm seeing that one. That's he's good.
I can't believe they didn't put that in the broadcast. That
he was swearing.
Well,
fair.
And Flavio would come after him. They're trying to save him.
Flavio.
That comment was
good, and
so
it's quick
so
and
juicy.
Fast. I think, I'm quick and fast with my comebacks too. So we have that in common,
and that's why me and Oscar are friends.
Compatible.
That's the new boy in Shelley's life.
That's why we're so compatible and would work in real life. I'm just kidding. Oh my gosh, I'm joking.
This is about to become a McLaren fan podcast.
Yeah.
Well, I'm trying to Williams this week. We have to talk about something.
Wait, let me get into qualifying.
Not Carlos's car catching on fire, and he doesn't even get one lap.
I know. Well, it was just his brakes that were on fire, right? Like there wasn't like a more risky fire.
Brakes.
No, but like in terms of like the danger risk, there's a much larger risk if there's another part of the car that's on fire compared to the brakes.
A risk to his race.
I don't know.
Do you not think a fire on the car when it's full of fuel is dangerous?
It is. I think we all agree.
Did we ever find out what happened to Alex's car?
Just mechanical failure.
It was so sad.
And I think Williams did post about it, but I don't know.
Grace, any insight?
And he was having a really good race too.
He was having a great race.
Great race.
I fully believe he is the one personally posting, because like I think the caption under the race this week, I'm like, this is a sad one. He's personally put this out. Like, I don't know. I just get that vibe.
You've lost it.
I mean, I can imagine him being the type of person where his social media employee would come up to him and say, "What do you want to say?" And then Alex would just say something, and then they would type it out and post it.
Okay, yeah.
He's using speech to text.
That's exactly right.
That's why the punctuation's like a little funny.
Yeah, exactly. There's a
really,
spelling error.
AI. It's got all those M dashes in it.
He's
just kidding.
I don't want to get into it. I love M dashes.
Oh wow. Wait. Okay. One statement I have about the race is I was looking at the stands and I was like, oh, it's so orange. This is a Red Bull ring, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's all McLaren.
Was it all McLaren? Are you
sure? It was a lot of McLaren, I think. I was like, this is all for Max. I don't think it was all McLaren. That was hyperbolic, but I think there was a shocking amount of McLaren merch. And I was like, gosh, whenever I see orange, I just assume that's the Orange Army.
Yeah, I do think the Orange Army is much more intense in Zandvoort compared to anywhere else. And I'm sure it was.
Is it a different shade of orange?
Yeah, I was gonna say, I feel like the Red Bull orange is like super intense, and the papaya is kind of like a pastel-y.
Pull him up.
No, share your screen. We can let the people in the comments debate. I'm looking at qualifying results.
Yeah.
And recalling that, and Liam Lawson is up there. That's a very
Liam Lawson beat every other like Red Bull
Bortoletto.
Oh my gosh.
No, Bortoletto and Max gave him a slipstream.
I love that.
That's when you have to like Max.
Yeah.
Oh no.
I did not get a chance to watch quali until like late in the evening on Saturday. And a friend came over and they walked in the door and earlier in the afternoon. And the first thing they said was, "Did you see that Liam Lawson outqualified Max?"
Yeah.
And I was a little...
You're like, I gotta watch. I think the whole race weekend, they talked about like the balance of the car and like that being really key to people, like race drivers' confidence. And I thought that was like, obviously balance is always really important, but I feel like
the balance of the mind, Shelley.
Exactly.
The balance of the toes. the balance of the hydration.
That's how Liam floated his way up into Q1.
Yeah.
But where did he finish the race?
Sauber finished 8th and 9th.
I know that.
I feel like Liam was like 10 or 11.
Oh, sorry, you're talking about Liam.
Yeah.
Shoot. Sorry.
Oh gosh.
I'm pulling it up.
No, this is
I
good
feel like he
audio.
was higher. I think he's in
This
the
is really good
boys.
audio.
This is good audio.
Like 6 or 7.
It's gonna get cut.
Sauber is coming for
He got
Williams.
6th. Liam got 6th.
Right.
He
He
started
did.
6th
Okay.
and he ended 6th. Yeah.
You were right. You were right.
Good strategy.
Honestly,
This was
it
a
kind of
very-
sucks for Liam because if it was like a normal race weekend and Sauber and Bortoleto hadn't done so good, Liam Lawson could have been looking at a driver of the day. But Bortoleto really ran away with that vote.
I voted for him.
Love that.
Me too.
Ah,
Everybody voted for
deserved
him.
it. Yeah.
Their 27% of viewers voted for him.
Yeah.
I thought it was 30.
It might have been 30.
That's pretty good.
He had a great race. Gabby.
Was it Bortoleto that had the plane ride with Lewis
Mm-mm.
Hamilton?
No, Franco.
Franco.
Oh, that's Franco. That
Number one
story
fan.
was
Franco, who did not have a good
incredible.
race.
No.
A bad
Franco
day.
had a
But-
hard race.
Wonderful story from the week.
Yeah.
Just
I like that Franco's willing to have no filter.
yes.
But we're not
Because,
getting
like,
any of
I
his
think
radios.
he thinks if he speaks in Spanish, nobody in the English speaking world will like ever know what he's saying.
but
He's
it's
sort
not-
of like, I'm
Yeah.
just telling you guys. I'm just gonna tell you guys this. And then CNN won't know what I'm saying. But then
Joke's
they're
on him.
translating. Jokes on
We can
him.
get Google Translator or subtitles, English subtitles.
Like I feel like he's like, don't tell anybody, but I got to ride in Lewis Hamilton's plane. And then they're like, well,
Keep it on the DL.
I'm a journalist.
journalist.
Recording. This is a microphone.
No, well,
It
I
was
did
such a
see some clip where he was like, well, I guess my friends told you that I was on Hamilton's plane. I didn't mean to tell anyone, but I guess since you
Sure.
know, I'll tell you about it now.
Yeah, I don't know if that's true.
But it was a very, very sweet story.
He's full of
Yeah.
sweet stories. He's a sweet man.
Well, it is also a very sweet thing that Lewis Hamilton did.
Mm-hmm.
Very, very sweet.
Poor
A
Lewis
good
Hamilton this race.
Yes.
Shelly, yes.
I texted in the group chat, Ferrari hates Lewis. Like, do
They're
they not
sabotaging
know
him.
he's on their team? That's
Well,
they're
it
confused.
feels like they're doing the same thing to Charles and
They're
Lewis.
giving the same
I'm gonna be an
treatment.
apologist. This is a Ferrari problem. I think it's
Do you
easy to
think
be.
they should fire Fred?
I don't know. Do you?
I don't know. I'm asking you.
I need to actually get in the company and
I
do a little
want-
digging
If
before
the
I say that
problem
Fred
is
needs to be fired.
Ferrari,
That's
then what do
good.
they
That's
do
a
to
good
solve their
response, Grace.
problem?
Good PR response.
I need to be hired on as a consultant, and I can send you my fee by email, and then I will let you know if they
Okay,
need
Brene
to
Brown.
fire Fred. Is that
Okay.
true?
Can your fee be
Investigation.
some paddock passes for your friends?
My fee is a lifetime of paddock passes.
That's
There
all
we
I
go.
need. No benefits.
ethical. Yeah, they
But
need like a leadership
It's hard
summit
to
or
tell
something.
because it
They need
feels
Six
exactly
Sigma.
the same as it always feels. They need
It
Six
does.
Sigma. They need to hire dad. That's his retirement
They
job.
need to do a
Oh,
high
I would
ropes
lo-
course on decision making. You know,
It's rough.
it's
But
rough.
I do think they need to look at like the higher up management within the team because it's clearly not the drivers. They have two incredible drivers. It's other things in the team.
Yeah,
That
the
was
drivers both really made the most out of what they had this weekend. I mean, Charles on the podium.
Deeply sad to hear Hamilton be like, "Why are you pitting me? I don't want to
Yeah,
be pitted.
yeah.
Please
And
leave
when
me
they were
out."
playing that clip, he was in the pit
The
lane too,
lane,
because it's like
yeah.
a little bit delayed, and you're like,
Literally
Yeah.
and
he said that, and then they
figuratively
made him do
in
it.
the pits.
In the pits.
Yeah.
It's in the
Yeah.
pits. I hope things
They're
turn
like,
around.
doesn't the Ferrari team know it's not about the fastest lap? Like they're
No, the
Yes.
fastest
like-
race.
yeah,
Shelley.
fastest
Fastest
race is not
race.
what
Yeah.
it's not qualifying, and it was brutal.
It was very rough to watch.
If next year is bad in Ferrari, what do you think Lewis is going to do?
Retire.
Retire.
I think he's gonna do. I guess I was gonna
I think you
say.
stick it out at Ferrari until Ferrari forces you to leave.
Do you think
Oh,
that's his game
Historically, that's what
plan?
people do.
dark.
Yeah.
I mean, they did that to Kimmy. They did that
Seb,
to Seb.
Fernando,
And, you know.
Ouch.
Felipe.
You're making this up.
No, she's not.
No,
Felipe
I'm not.
Massa.
You're making this up. You don't know. You don't know Wheel.
I Oh, did you? Yeah. I don't know wheel, but
Does
I
anyone?
do know business. Call me Ferrari.
Okay.
I know leadership.
I know quality improvement, and I'd be happy to help you with your quality issues.
Amazing.
I do feel like Hamilton must be like losing his mind, especially because I do feel like for all the like there, I'm sure there's also a lot of dysfunction at Mercedes, but that is like their harbinger, is like their culture and being like, we are really focused on like qualitying our way to best driver, best car, best everything. Everything's about like tell the truth, fix it, find the problem, fix it. Ferrari, I feel like, is literally the exact opposite, where they're like, we're historical. We really know what we're doing. We've run a ton of championships. Listen to us. And you're like, you haven't won a championship recently.
Well, but I
Um,
feel like since 2020, Ferrari and Mercedes, neither one of them has like been on top. And which I mean, they feel like they're at very similar spots this year in terms of like
Yes.
they kind of alternate between third and fourth, depend like in terms of the best cars, and unless Max is not there. And true.
mhm.
But it is interesting that like they are in such a similar position, but they arrived at it from such different management styles.
Yeah.
Neither one of which seems to be doing all
No,
that
it's
particularly well
well,
right now.
and I'm not saying that like, oh, and Mercedes is obviously in the right. I'm just saying like I imagine that coming from a work culture like that where
Yeah.
it's like very based around like, oh, everything can be optimized, let's optimize to a
Yes.
like we're historical
We've always been the
would be
best. Everyone loves us.
We do
very
things the Ferrari
frustrating.
way because they are the Ferrari way.
Okay, what about Ferrari poaching Zach Brown
Stop.
to run the team?
Impossible.
He would have to learn Italian.
Arrivederci. Oh, I didn't do it right, but you can do it pretty good, Sarah.
He's made something happen at McLaren, although he does not seem to know anything technical.
No. And
I think
Andrea
he's made
Stella has a
something
lot more credit for
happen.
the day-to-day management than
He's
Zach
made something
Brown.
happen at McLaren with his hugs. He's really bringing that.
He
Oh.
brought like belief back to them.
Yeah.
He made them hope. He made them dream. He's sort of a Barack
Oh.
Obama type.
I really
Okay.
believe. Stop.
Jeez.
I can't handle
Cut that
it.
out.
I really believe the reason why Mercedes cannot get it together is because it was always James Vowles who was keeping them fast. And that's about to hit Williams. Give it like 2 more years.
I don't know.
It's 2 more years.
I don't know.
Hold out hope.
All right, Shelly, I want to hear your thoughts on the Lando versus Oscar.
Yeah, me too.
I mean, we have talked about it here on this pod that the reporters, the commentators have a certain bias. And this weekend, it was very apparent to me. Like, I know this, but then, like, I sort of it was just like blaring of like, Lando is like so much better than Oscar this weekend. Like, comments from DC specifically. I'm gonna call him out.
Call him out. Call him
And
out. Yes, it's
how
right that you
Oscar
should
is
do
just
so.
eons behind and whatever. It was
He did a few times in the second half of the race say like, yeah, Oscar's not really making up much time here at all.
yeah, I caught it and I'm like, well, DC, you're my book. You're my list of people I'm gonna fire when I become president of F1. Oh, I might cut that out. Anyways,
Don't
Because
you
she's
dare cut
gunning
that
for the
out.
job.
Did you
yeah,
all see that
I'm
Carlos Sainz Sr. put out a statement that he's
yes.
not
Yeah.
I think that's funny. He's like,
Yeah.
I've heard the rumor mill. I'm not gonna be.
Well, I think he was
No.
seriously
No, he was
exploring
seriously
it.
Oh, he
considering it.
was.
And so that's
Yeah.
why he put out a statement when he
And
decided not to.
what I heard was
I
like it was
respectfully bow out.
because I heard it was basically going to be impossible for him to win that election.
I mean, he's unopposed right now.
Is
Mhm.
MBS gonna just win it again?
Yeah,
Yes. And
unopposed.
he's
Yeah.
basically like stacked the board
Oh.
so that like that's why
He
Carlos
will-
Sr. was like,
Yeah,
I'm
That's
not going to do it.
gross.
And Susie Wolf,
the
same thing.
dark side. I know. I was. Yeah, it's
Oh.
brutal.
It's very dark. It's
Yeah.
like money and corruption and cut that out, Shelley. This is serious.
They're gonna come after us.
Well,
Yeah,
unfortunately, Carlos Sainz and Susie Wolf also have like easy targets for like
all corrupt.
claims that they would be,
Conflicts of
unfair
interest.
yeah, they have conflicts of
Yeah,
interest.
I don't think they
yeah.
care because it's the
already
FIA's
correct.
presidency is not just for F1, it's for like
I
a
know, but
bazillion. Yeah.
I just mean it would be easy to like slander them if we're doing
Yeah.
Slander.
Like Ben is doing that,
right.
running his campaign ads.
His
against
campaign
Susie
ads,
Wolf.
exactly. His smear campaign.
It's crazy.
Toto Wolff's wife.
Yeah. No. Seeing the McLarens fight again, it's good. It's a good race. I mean it's like it's fun to watch. I really do actually enjoy when Max is up there because like he's actually out of everyone, maybe George is like a close second, but Max is usually a strong competitor to sort of be in the mix of like, oh, who's
It
going to
forces
take one of the
McLaren
McLaren
to-
out? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so Oscar had a few bold moves and I love that. And I'll this race around, they were like, Oscar, like you can go for it basically. From the radios that we did see, they were encouraging
Except for
that, so.
after
Oh, really?
Lando had come into pit, they said over the radio to Oscar,
Yeah.
like, your move at turn 4 was too much.
You're right.
You can't do that again.
Yeah.
And actually, one interesting thing to me was that in his post-race interview, Oscar like apologized to the team basically for his turn 4 move.
Maybe he agreed.
I mean,
to me, it
you're
didn't
the
feel
one
that
that's
over
been
the
saying
line.
all season that they're gonna crash and take points off each other and then help Max win the championship, which I think is hilarious because they're proving you wrong
I'm not
every
necessarily
race.
saying that they're gonna crash into each other all the time.
They're
I'm saying
winning this championship with love, Anne.
I love tap.
And brotherhood.
I do think
and hugs.
this is turning
Horner's
much more
statement?
into a did Nico Rosberg win his in 2016?
It's not that. It's not
In
that.
terms
Anne.
of
different
of
than
it
that.
just being a competition between two drivers and other teams don't really have a shot. That's where I think
Okay.
it's
well,
much closer to that.
Christian Horner made some statement where he said Oscar's car was making love to Lando's for the majority of the race.
I did
don't
see
like
that.
I purposefully avoided clicking on that.
He was, and then, but it was all in,
'Cause he's
of
a
course,
little
because he's the
freak.
worst. Yeah.
Because he's
a car sexual.
well, I was gonna
And
say
that's the only way he can view cars, allegedly.
he's an offender.
Allegedly.
Allegedly, he's not a good look for him. That's all I'm gonna
It's
say.
freaking out.
Ew.
Yeah.
That's gross.
No, but he did say that. But I will say more usefully, he was saying that to say it was very impressive how well Piastri's tires hung on that
he
whole race.
loves Oscar. I think he's gunning for that guy. And
I think so.
don't know how
Oscar
I
knows
feel.
what's good for him. He will not.
No.
Well,
Go.
if Max retires, that is gonna
That's a
open-
different situation.
Yeah,
If
a
Max
lot
is
of
going to
things.
Mercedes.
I still would
Oscar
not
loves
go.
being a number one. Oh.
I would not go.
I wouldn't
Red
either,
Bull.
but it is like a number one temptation. You can
They're
be
not
a
even
number one
doing
driver.
well this year. They can't even show that they can make a good car. And Adrian
No.
Newey
Yeah.
left.
Okay.
It's a hard
Yuki
sell.
can't drive that car.
Yuki can't drive.
Oh, I
The Racing
know.
Bulls
Why
consistently
would
are
Oscar
doing
be able
better.
to drive it?
I believe
the
in Oscar.
Saubers lapped Yuki.
Yeah, I
So-
know. It was bad. It was hurting.
Yeah.
Oh,
So crazy. It's so
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah.
Let's take a moment of silence for Yuki and for all the previous Red Bull drivers who've gone before him.
Gone but not forgotten.
Was it someone in the group chat who posted that picture of, or did I just see this? Daniel Ricciardo posted a picture
It
of
was
like,
me.
what
Wait,
was his caption?
explain it,
He
Sarah.
posted on Instagram recently like a cute little retirement dump on Instagram, right? And then somebody screenshotted it because it said liked by Christian Horner. And the caption is men after they cause you indescribable pain and trauma because they'll still like your Instagram posts.
Ouch. Ouch. Yeah.
And it's true. It's
And
insightful and it's true.
The audacity.
and they don't change. Christian Horner will never change. He's showing you who he is. You have to believe him.
You have to believe him.
At least Toto Wolff, I'm like, I don't know.
Keep
I don't
going.
think he would cause you indescribable harm. I think he might be
No.
like, this relationship has run its course. I don't think it's working out anymore. It's time for us to part ways. But Christian
Valtteri
Horner
came back
would
as a
Christian Horner would ghost you.
Or
I don't like where this
be doing a
conversation is
full-on
going.
situationship where it's
Christian
super
Horner would be like,
toxic.
we were never dating. I just thought we
Yes.
were good friends. I'm sorry you were confused.
I'm sorry you're confused when I gave you keys to my place and those late nights. Yeah.
in the simulator.
I don't like that. Oh gosh.
It's too real. It's too real.
Yeah. All that to say, back to McLaren. Happy for Lando. He really fought for it. It was a close call, but
He was a little unlucky.
yeah,
he was.
The
Yeah.
blue, yeah.
And
Well,
the
and he was unlucky in qualifying too. He
Yeah.
missed his last lap because of Pierre's spin. And
And then
I think
Franco's
Pierre's
little-
spin was
sometimes
incredible.
it
and
was
to me,
cute. That was balance. That was balance.
if I've ever seen balance, that's what it is.
based off of the way that Oscar was able to catch up to and like stay right behind Lando twice during the race, I do think Oscar was probably the faster driver over the course of the race if he had had the clean air that Lando had had.
Thank you, Anne.
I think
But unfortunately for Oscar,
I'm gonna be the Lando defender here.
please.
And I'm only gonna do that because of my deep and abiding love for Carlos Sainz.
Orlando, which she
Orlando.
still sends
Orlando.
those like images from that era to our group chat. And I'm sure if we scroll back a little bit, we've seen it already because there's only so many photos
Set
you
to
can
a Taylor
share.
Swift song.
We're outing
You're supposed to
you.
read the captions, Shelley. You're meant to read the captions.
Oh, yes.
I think Carlos made a statement recently, like someone was asking him about Lando this season, and he was basically just like, he doesn't have the same feel for the car as Oscar does this season, but he's a great driver, and there's still a chance he can get that feel for it, and like, I know that he can win the world championship.
Oh, he's
And
definitely still in
Oh
it.
yeah.
Oh, yeah. But a lot of people were like really appreciative of that comment because they were like, he's not being like, it's his mindset, it's this and that. He's just like, he doesn't have the feel for the
Yeah.
car right now. And that might
And
change
that's actually the
and it might not.
truth.
Yeah, he doesn't have the feel and the confidence right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Aside from all the journalists, definitely
Yes,
coming
the
after
obsession with
his-
like, oh, it's
yeah.
his mindset, it's his
I'm over that.
brain. I'm over
Yeah,
it.
I'm
over
over
that.
that too. I think it's gross and weird.
Yeah.
And also, even
It's
if
giving
there
man.
is
It's
stuff
giving
going
old
on,
man.
none of your business.
It's giving
It's none of your
boomer.
business.
It's giving
Yeah, it's giving
boomer.
boomer. It's
DC.
giving DC.
And his burned butt.
He's his blister on DC mentioning the blister on his butt while he's driven in the past. He's catching a lot of strays in this pod. I gotta be honest.
I do like
It's
love
running his
his
mouth.
commentary.
Okay, I
He
didn't.
does run his mouth. You were not listening when he was running
He's
his mouth about Daniel
messy.
Ricciardo. He is messy. He doesn't
He's
care. He's
messy.
like, I'm
He's
And
on
that's why we
retired.
like
tenure. Yeah.
him.
He's getting paid. He
And
doesn't care.
Speaking of other good F1 coverage, I didn't send this in the group chat, but apparently on Sky Sports, they had this weekend Bernie Collins go around and interview a bunch of different women who do all sorts of different jobs in F1
Ooh,
about like what they
the
do
F1
and
movie.
as kind of a like unspoken reaction to the portrayal of women
Yes,
in the F1 movie.
that was necessary. And
Okay. Oh, go
I just
in.
said that they did that and it sounded epic.
Oh, you
I heard
didn't
they did
watch
it. I
it.
haven't watched it.
you're killing
I'm
me.
trying to. Okay, maybe the
Sky
last
Sports is
thing.
like completely blocked.
Yeah, that's true. The last thing we should talk about maybe is the F1 movie. Who's
Sure.
seen
Let's
it?
chat gossip. Who's seen it?
Sarah and I are
None of
gonna
us
see
have
it
seen it, which is
on
great. I think let's
We
talk
Saturday.
haven't
about
seen
our
it.
first impressions upon having not seen it.
So I actually listened to the Dax Shepard episode with Brad Pitt because Brad
Stop.
was on to advertise
Oh,
for the movie.
No.
of course.
It's weird because I listened to it and I'm like, oh yeah, like if I didn't know anything, I would imagine this movie's gonna be epic. I mean, obviously Dax is like, this movie was great, blah blah blah.
I thought he was a
And
fan
yeah,
Of
of
F1?
Dax,
F1. Well,
I
I
yeah.
think
feel
he
like I
got
heard
Well,
Brad
some.
Pitt into F1.
yeah, that's the famous story. Dax Shepard
That's the
brought
famous
Brad
story.
Pitt into F1 and he did mention it on the pod, which I thought was
Of
really
course.
funny. Um and he's like, I mean, he was kind of saying the first F1 move, like this is the greatest first F1 movie, like with that caveat. I'm like, yeah, it is like the only one. So he can say some of these things. From what I know, I think it's like the only feature
The
Le
film
only
with
Mans?
F1.
I'm just
sponsored
kidding.
F1 movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, that too.
Yeah.
Got it.
Be-
And so if I was a layperson, I would be like, oh yeah, this movie's gonna be like super cool. I don't know. And I did kind of leave liking Brad Pitt a little more, but I still am not that excited about
That's
the movie.
dangerous. That's
I
dangerous.
I could love the movie when I watch it now because I
I
love
did
Brad
see
Pitt.
something that it was like the largest opening for any Apple produced movie ever, and
That's
one of the
crazy.
biggest box office openings since COVID. Like not the biggest. Like it wasn't
You
bigger
need
than
to know your
Barbie.
sources,
It
I
was like
maybe.
a
believe
real
you.
news article,
The Onion.
On the F1 app.
not on the F1 app.
On
On
Facebook.com.
Ben's Twitter page.
I looked at the source. I can't remember it off the top of my head, but it was a real source.
I
Anne's like, how dare you? I am a social studies professional.
Yes.
Primary sources.
okay.
Citing my source.
I feel like I feel like the F1 drivers did not give it the most glowing praise, which makes me hesitant. The
That's not
Tumblr
that
girls are
surprising.
actively quite mad and are basically like, do not watch this.
Whoa.
I don't want
I
to
did
name
see one
drop, but
person.
our dad's good friend loves racing, liked the movie, was into the movie. So I think some people are into the movie. People who
A different
are,
generation.
I do wonder if it's like a dad movie. Like, I wonder if
Oh,
the Tumblr girls are like
cute.
yeah,
upset because they're like, this is not good
Not for
representation of
us.
women in motorsports, which I think
Oh,
is a
that too.
very fair critique.
Yes.
Because basically, there's only like two women portrayed per what I've seen on the internet, and one is like a very mediocre mechanic who improves over time, and one dates Brad Pitt and is an engineer, which is not a good look.
a little weird.
Well, the
But
Tumblr
also the
girls were like,
subject
if
of
they,
all of the fan fiction that these Tumblr girls are reading. Are they not
no,
reading stories about drivers falling in love with female engineers?
they're reading stories about drivers falling in love with other drivers.
But
Right.
also,
Equality.
I could find one in probably sub 10
Yeah.
Yes,
minutes.
I
Yeah,
agree.
yeah.
No,
I'm
no.
just gonna say
I'm
that.
I'm
I'm
not in
trying to be an
disagreement with
engineer in
that. I'm
the
saying
garage.
like the problem is to have that be like the only woman when there's already so little representation
You.
of women in racing.
Yeah, I'm not defending the movie. I'm just,
Making
It does not pass the Bechdel test, per
of
what I've
course
heard.
not.
Bechdel?
Who thought it would?
No,
N-
neither does The Lord of the Rings.
yeah.
Not even
No.
remotely. Have you all seen there's a video, I don't know if it was like a Vine or a YouTube or whatever, where it was like there's a screen that says like all of the scenes in Lord of the Rings with two female characters talking to each other. And then had a 2-second clip
Of Eowyn
of
talking to the woman giving her
the
soup.
Where's
yes.
Mama?
And
Where's
that is
Mama?
it. And then it's done.
That's getting
Anyways,
cut.
yeah.
Stop. I can stand.
But I did see one person on Tumblr who was like, actually, it was really enjoyable. I thought it was fun. And I do believe that I will think it's fun.
Let's
Yeah,
let
I will
it
think
just be
it's
fun.
funny.
Yes. Yeah, I'm going in with
A
very low
comedy.
expectations.
Can you
It's
introduce
a
me to Carlos
comedy,
Open
isn't
Sainz?
mind,
it?
ready to just like have fun.
I'm
It's definitely a
obsessed with, can you
comedy.
introduce me to Carlos Sainz? And Carlos Sainz being like, I was a little uncomfortable, but everybody laughed, so I felt okay.
I'm gonna definitely be like
I'm
I'm gonna be like
gonna be
excited
waiting
when
for that
Oscar's on the
line.
screen. 'Cause I
My
think there is a moment. Okay, go ahead.
my favorite like press I've seen is the younger driver. I think the actor's name is like Damon. I don't know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Has been asked like who's his favorite driver, who he would act with, and he consistently says Carlos. He's like, I would do a movie with Carlos. I think he's got it.
This is bad. This is gonna go
Okay,
straight to
well,
Carlos's head.
okay, back to the Dax pod. Brad was like, I think out of all the F1 drivers, Pierre and Carlos should be good actors. And I'm like, okay, pull
Uh-oh.
up the footage from McLaren or Ferrari. I want to show
And
him that.
their Shell commercials.
The
Yeah,
Shell
love the Shell
commercial.
commercial.
Oh my God, I
When
forgot
are we gonna
about
see Lewis
that.
Hamilton in a Shell commercial?
Never.
Never, girl.
He probably got it written out of his contract.
HP.
Lame.
Although he does sponsorship stuff. I mean, he has a whole Lululemon thing.
Yeah.
It's true. He's a
Honestly,
Lululemon
why
guy.
does
Ambassador.
Lulu not have a car in F1 Academy?
They should.
They
definitely
totally
should.
Unhinged. They
Yeah.
should take LV's sponsor contract for all of F1.
They can't afford it, girl. They can't
Yeah.
afford it. Okay.
You don't know.
Lululemon is way past their prime, let's be honest.
Yeah.
I
No,
was
kids
really
are into
money.
Lulu because it's preppy.
Yes. So
Boom, roasted.
when we were on our
Anything else?
Did we talk about the F1 Academy show on the podcast? Because Shelly and I did watch most of it.
I still haven't
Or
watched it.
like 5 or 6 episodes when I was visiting her.
I really want to watch it.
I think
I definitely recommend. It was really fun. It was a little bit too cheesy, sort of like girl powery for my taste, but I do think probably good for like a new audience.
I think we should, once Grace and I have had a chance to watch it, maybe like do an episode on it or a
mini-
longer
Yeah, let's do an
segment.
episode.
Yeah.
That's a good idea.
Okay.
And we can all talk about our
Yes.
favorite drivers.
Yes,
Yeah.
that would be
I love
so
that.
fun. Okay,
Because
it's a
they
plan.
do a good job of profiling not all of the drivers, but the ones they
yeah.
focus on, they do a
They're
great job
pretty,
with.
thorough.
Except there was one weird one, but we'll talk about that. And if you know, you know.
You know. Yeah.
Okay, anything else?
Okay.
Is there a race next
Arrivederci.
There is a race in Silverstone.
Silverstone.
Of course I knew that. I knew
The
that.
biggest one.
I can't wait.
So
love
Shelly's British
Silverstone.
bias is showing.
Yeah.
Perfect. See you then.
Yeah, we'll see you all in Silverstone.
Bye.
This meeting of the Wheel Girls Club is officially adjourned. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.